Are you considering divorce? Are you dealing with it now? Are you on the other side and not sure what comes next? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Divorce Do's and Don'ts Show with your host, Lisa C. Decker.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Divorce Do's and Don'ts Show. We're so happy to have you here today. I'm your host, Lisa C. Decker, and I am a certified divorce financial analyst, a real estate collaboration specialist in divorce, a certified amicable divorce professional with a special certification in finances, and the founder of Divorce Money Matters and DivorceTown USA, the organization that brings you this show. I sometimes still have to look at my notes, folks. That list is growing longer, and I'm happy to be adding certifications to bring more value to you every week. So thank you for joining us today. And as we finish up the month of February, we know that many of our viewers may be nervous as they consider the possibility of starting again in a new relationship. Whatever you're facing or have gone through in your divorce, and whether your decision is now to make this journey or not, it is vital that we learn to love and forgive ourselves before we begin again with a new partner. That is really critical. And to help us understand the importance of this and help us begin the process, we are happy to introduce today's guest, Sheryl Woodhouse. And Sheryl is a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she started Born to be Balanced, which when she realized that we all need strong relationships with spirit, self, significant others, extended family, and a calling to have resilience and a purpose in life. I love that, Sheryl. With a background of 20 years in the mental health field, she has a desire to assist clients in achieving personal empowerment and living with intention and finding personal satisfaction in life before, during, and after divorce. So Sheryl, welcome to the show today. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. Well, why don't we jump right in here? So what do you find is the biggest barrier with women when they try to forgive and love themselves again when facing divorce? And, we do have men listen to the show, so anything that can apply to men, we want you to mention that as well.
Well, specifically to women, I feel like we should on ourselves so much. Women are so incredibly self-critical. We feel like we should know better. We beat ourselves up mentally saying, I shouldn't have slept with that person, or I saw the red flags. Why did I go out with that person again? And so we always feel like we should have known better. We're just really, really hard on ourselves. And I'm here to tell you that I don't know about anybody else, but I can tell you I didn't receive a manual how to date, how to get married, or how to have kids. So, right. I feel like we learn more with the DMV and how to drive than how to date, right? And get into a relationship. So the first thing I'm here to say is please, please forgive yourselves. Because you know what? Marriage takes two. It's never just one person. And so you want to start there to say, you know what? We're human and we make mistakes. So forgive yourself. Second thing I see, which is just heartbreaking, is so many women say, I can't get divorced, or I did get divorced, and oh my gosh, I've ruined my child's lives or my children's lives. I am here to tell you, you didn't. The most incredible thing that I have learned being a divorce coach and going through a divorce and watching other people's lives all these years is that this is an opportunity for you. Most people say, oh, it's such a loss getting a divorce. I say it's an absolute opportunity.
Great way to look at that. And what opportunity, what do you see in that? Can you share more?
Well, I'm going to start out first, Lisa, basically saying that Eckhart Tolle once said something that was so heartfelt for me, and that some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge.
So true.
It's right. It's an opportunity for a new chapter in your life. So why do I say that? Some people go, oh, no, this divorce is horrible. I say, take the opportunity before you've even filed. If you're seriously considering going through a divorce, sit your children down with someone like myself, a divorce coach, a therapist. We're here to help you bridge that time where it's like, how am I going to bring this up to my kids? Or how do I bring it up? Like, I get it. I can bring it up to my 15-year-old and they're going to really grab onto it. But I have a little one. I have a 5-year-old. What do I do then? And I say, sit them down and talk to them. Assure them that both mom and dad love them, or partners love them. And nothing they did, nothing they said, not when they got in trouble, not when they screamed in the hall, caused you guys to get a divorce or even to think about divorce. And that you're never going to divorce your kids because they're afraid. They see mom and dad going, we're saying goodbye to each other. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, if I do something wrong, my mommy and dad are going to divorce me too. And that's
Oh goodness. Yes. And children do have that magical thinking, right? They really do. And so having a person like yourself to sit down with the children is really important. And I also want to go back to something else that you said, Sheryl, about preparing yourself for the divorce, getting yourself in the right mindset, in the right clarity. That can be working with a divorce coach or a therapist. It can be getting an understanding of your financial matters ahead of time so that it's not all thrown at you and you're dealing with a lot of emotions and you're trying to sort through all that. And now you've got all these other things that need to be done. It becomes overwhelming for people is what I find. And sometimes they just shut down. They really just can't move. It's like a deer in the headlights. So the more that you can prepare ahead of time, and I like to call it planning, not plotting, really to get yourself educated and informed, and also learn about your divorce options, because not every case needs to have a contested divorce. There are many people, and I know you serve them in your group in Irvine, California, with Patricia Van Haren in her programs, and we serve them here in Atlanta area, and there are multiple people across the country who do amicable type divorces, and you have to know about that as an option and then seek that out. And I'll talk more about how to learn more about that at the end of this show. But let's get back to the questions here. So when
I want to comment that getting a journal is so very important to prepare. It's very, very common to have like your brain is all scattered and, flowing up on the ceiling. You want to ground yourself and get focused. So get some type of a fun journal, okay? And write everything down for all, the team that you're going to be working with, your divorce lawyer and your mortgage banker and your realtor and your CDFA, all the people that are going to be working with you. You're going to have a lot of questions. And so just like you said, prepare. And it also has been shown in any form of anxiety. And we all know that divorce is anxiety ridden,
absolutely.
right?
Right.
Write things down. Okay. They even say when you're an anxious person and you can't sleep at night and you have insomnia, put a notepad next to your bed and offload out of your brain everything that you're thinking. And then that actually reduces your anxiety. So I absolutely agree with you, Lisa, on that. It's very smart for you.
That's a great tool, the journaling and the offloading of the brain in the middle of the night. I know I'm one of those. So I definitely keep those things handy so I can either put a note in my phone or write something down, because otherwise it's going to keep me up all night. And then when I get up in the morning, I'm not going to remember what it was anyway. So that's even worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all very busy. I hear young people, forgetting, where are my glasses? And they're on top of their heads. So we're just busy people. So,
and it gets worse as we get older and more obligations and such. So we need those little tools, and don't feel bad about that, folks. So When you're dealing with divorce, especially if you've had a long-term marriage, the fear of being alone is very real. Why is that so difficult to face?
Well, going back to first, there's the lack of forgiveness, okay, in us, and we're worried about our children. And I wanted to first comment too that the damage that is done if we stay put, not only because we fear being alone, but also that we feel like we're damaging our kids. These are all in error. I can't tell you the number of negative things that I see in my practice where people hold in there because they're afraid to be alone, or they're afraid that they're going to damage their kids by divorce. It has been shown that if there's a lot of yelling in a marriage, in any partnership, it can cause what we call secondary post-traumatic stress. That's where you see incredible anxiety in kids, and you see incredible behavioral problems, and you start getting the phone calls from the school saying, Johnny or Susie used to be such a great kid. What's going on with them? So I'm here to tell you that it's better for you to leave a bad marriage than to stay. Now, that's for high conflict marriage, and that's for the extreme in domestic violence. But I want you to think about this too. Even in divorces where it's a loveless marriage, there's no yelling, there's no conversation, there's abandonment. You are sending that legacy with your children into their adult future. So again, I come back to opportunity. You have the opportunity to demonstrate, to role model what love is to your kids, whether you're a single parent or you're coupled with someone that would ultimately be their step parent. If you're a happy couple, that's what they're going to take into their future. So I can't stress it enough. I used to be, I hate divorce, and it's breaking up the family and it's creating so much loss. I don't want to minimize how difficult it is. It is difficult, but I like to stress the opportunity of creating this new chapter and moving forward in the most positive of ways, and really rewriting your life and showing your kids the right way to go about things, rather than say, knuckle down, put up with it, and then they just go, and we call it repetition compulsion. And we go ahead and we repeat the same exact patterns in our relationships moving forward. We don't want to do that.
No.
I basically wanted to say that.
No,
But
that's fine. I also want to just add to what you said that, it's very important that people also can be happy by themselves. They don't have to have a new spouse or partner. Taking the time to get to know yourself in between, not running out and, trying to find a new mate right away is very important in finding that self-love and that self-care, because as women, we're the caregivers. We take care of everyone but ourselves many times. And so, self-care is self-love. And that is one of the greatest lessons that you can teach your children, is to learn to care for yourself first. Yeah. Because I will tell you, I'm a recovering caregiver to everyone and everything. And I literally burned and crashed in a big way. And I'm still trying to recover from that. And it was a lot of extenuating circumstances and really big stuff. And it was, a responsibility that I couldn't walk away from in those that I was giving care to. But I lost myself along the way, and caretakers are 65% more likely to die before the person that they're taking care of. So I find a lot of people, when they're in a marriage and it's breaking up, and they're looking at all the responsibilities they have. Of course, our children, that goes without saying, we have responsibility to them, but many of us are caught in that sandwich generation, and we've got parents that we're taking care of as well, and they've come to me and they're completely depleted, and we have to back up, and I get them to talk to their therapist and their coach and say, where do you fit in all of this? Fill your cup first. All right, I'm done. I just had to insert that when I heard that you mentioned that.
You literally are reading my mind, and it's absolutely true. And I want to touch back on kids about this too with their mom. Okay. So you find yourself being a single mom. Now we're through the divorce, you're single, and you think, oh my gosh, I don't get to spend that quality time with myself. I don't get to spend that quality time with my kids. I'm here to tell you that it's not quantity that you want to look at in anything, in self-care, relationships with kids. It's quality. And quality is the most important thing. So we talk about custodial time. And that is in your visitation, you're going to have less time possibly with your child or children. It isn't the amount of time you spend with them. It's the quality time, making new memories, making new traditions you never had the chance to do because you were pouring out so much into a negative relationship. So it's very important to look at that. And that leads into, we need to have quality time for ourselves. And I want to bring up something to you, Lisa, that I bring up to my clients so often. I ask them this question: when you're alone, are you with someone? And I go, Sheryl, what are you talking about? I'm alone. Like, why do you ask? This is really confusing. I'm going to ask you this question again. When you're alone, are you with someone? And they start to get it. Oh, I don't like to be alone. I don't like the quiet. Why is that? Because so many of us are very self-critical, or we're worriers and we're afraid to be in our own company. So it goes back to, Lisa, we've got to take care of ourselves. We need to learn to love ourselves. That's the most incredible thing. And when I say love, we hear love yourself all the time. Love yourself, love yourself. I'm going to go into it even deeper. Embrace yourself. There's an adult you that exists right now as we speak, but there's an inner child inside of you that wants to be loved, wants to be paid attention to, is screaming out inside of you. And so many of us have learned to repeat the very things that we grew up with. Abandonment. I'm sorry, I have too much time. I'm working. Get away from me, kid. Or the critical. You're beautiful in that outfit, but you need to lose some weight. Are you doing that to yourself? You need to start listening to that self-talk and really figure out, are you your best friend? Or have you become that abandoning or critical parent? You don't want to do that. That's what you're used to. You want to love yourself in a way of self-acceptance, of not being perfect, of being human. And this is the clincher, being authentic. Lisa, you might laugh at this one, but I have found that once you start losing hormones as a woman, you get into your skin more. You start to feel like, yeah, this is who I am, and I'm not going to be anybody else. I can't compete against anyone, and I need to accept my body. It might have a little pooch, at the stomach, but I'm an okay looking person, and I have a great heart. Why is this important? Because as we face going through a loss of a relationship and even considering a new relationship, we want to show up authentic. How many of us have gone on a date and we pretend to be somebody we're not? And we can do that for a year. We can do that for 5 years. We marry that partner that has watched us be inauthentic. And here's the hard part. We get somebody that doesn't fit us and we don't fit them. So that's why I think it's so very important. That relationship with self is so important. Now, being afraid of being alone, our society tells us there's something wrong with you if you want to be alone. What's going on? Why don't you want to get married? We have family, we have our culture that tells us there's something bad about us if we don't get married. But the truth is, we need to have a marriage to ourselves first before we ever connect again to another person. So we've got, the songs, we got the TV shows, we got the movies that say you're nobody unless you're coupled. I say, tune it all out. I also have heard a lot of things. I'm a TikTok watcher sometimes. I can't believe at my age, but I like it. There's so much out there on TikTok right now of men that are getting afraid of how many women that like to live alone and They really enjoy being single. And I think it's wonderful. It doesn't mean that you're not feminine. It doesn't mean that you're too intelligent or you demand too much. It means it's healthy for you to take time to get to know you, to enjoy the home you live in, to enjoy the things you like that maybe your partner doesn't like. And I think of that movie with Julia Roberts, The Runaway Bride. If you haven't seen it, see it, because it speaks volumes about, do you know yourself? Because should you decide to couple up again, the more authentic you are, and you put it out in the universe and you put it out on your dates, you're going to be joined with the right person, and they're going to be joined with the right person. Because again, you're bringing in real. You're not bringing in fake. You're bringing in your heart. You're bringing in your whole being as is. But you've got to first start with you. So what I do is I tell women, don't listen to the misogynistic things that are going on in society that says we're bitches if we ask for what we want or we use our voice. No, that's us listening to our voice that may have been dampened when we were kids and told, you're just a little girl, you don't know anything, or children are to be seen and not heard. We're now hearing ourselves. We tune out the negative that we hear in society and we start working on us. And when I work with therapy clients, I talk about the me, the we, and the us. The me is developing the individual person in a marriage. That has to be done before we try to connect into a we, which is the couple relationship, the romance, having other couple friendships. You've got to have a me, even inside of a marriage, meaning your own hobbies, your own interests, your own goals, because otherwise you suck each other dry. And it's not an interesting relationship. So develop that me first, because then you become a we and it's all about that. But you got to go back into, I still have a sense of who I am, and I'm still going to bring my hobbies in, and I'm still going to bring my friends in. And that's not going to go away just because I love somebody. Because the us part is the children, and they're going to just have needs by default. I mean, and as a couple, you're constantly looking, as a mom, worrying about your children. So I see repeatedly as a marriage family therapist that couples come in and say, I lost myself. I lost my identity. I don't know who I am. All I do is take care of the kids. Or as a couple, all we do is pay bills. And I go, wait a minute. What did we used to do when we dated? Well, we used to make memories and have fun together. We also did our own individual things. We didn't give up our hobbies. We went and did whatever we did during the week in our own jobs. And then we got together with the person we were dating, and we might do some things together. What happens is couple relationships come up, and all of a sudden when you get married or live with someone, it's now the bills, it's now the kids, it's problem. And we start to not like to be with one another. So we need to have balance. My whole business is about born to be balanced. And I can't encourage people enough to sit down, whether it's balance wheels that I offer my clients, or you can do it in your own creative way, to sit down with every aspect of your life, not just the normal self-care of meditation and yoga and exercise and good sleep, which I definitely believe in, but it's more, am I content? Mind you, I didn't say happy, but content enough in the area of finances, in the area of my spiritual life, in the area of my recreation. Look at all the areas of your life and say, what am I sufficient in and what am I deficient in? And I would highly recommend, especially right now, going through a divorce, that you evaluate those areas and make baby steps. Don't expect the world right away. Baby steps, little by little, under each category, so that you can be a happier you. Because what I tell is, be the best you for me and me for you.
That's beautiful. That's really lovely. Well, this has been a great interview. I've enjoyed listening to your insights and your experience and your wisdom. And we thank you for having us here. We thank you for coming here today. And how can folks find you? Now, listen up, folks. You can find Sheryl on DivorceTown USA. She is one of our treasured members. And she's in Irvine, California. But do you serve people just in California, or can you do telemed?
So as a coach, I can anywhere. As a therapist, I'm only licensed in California. I have a private practice actually in Lake Forest. I pretty much serve everybody up and down the state of California.
That's fantastic. Well, I hope you guys are staying warm out there. I know you've had some crazy weather going on, but we appreciate you being here, and we're glad that the technology cooperated with all that nasty weather happening.
Yeah.
And why don't you give your best way for folks to contact you in addition to DivorceTown USA?
Yes. So it's borntobebalanced.com. I always say with an ED at the end. So BORN 2 TOBEBALANCED.com. I have a self-scheduler on there. I also encourage people to reach out. They can text me if they say, hey, I'd really like to see you sooner. I do get pretty impacted at times. Just text me, and I'm pretty good at folding people in or finding, some extra time to see people when they really need it. And
Okay.
definitely have them let me know where you came from.
Awesome. Yes. Well, again, thank you so much, Sheryl. Now, before we leave, we want to share other gifts and tools and tips that we have for you here at DivorceTown. So at DivorceTownUSA.com, you can download the DivorceTown USA roadmap you see here, which includes an ebook that explains the different options, because you do have options. As mentioned before, you don't have to just lawyer up. You can start with Put the Kids First Parkway, or come in amicably through legal channels, or do the Financials First freeway and move into the other areas. And this booklet will help you to understand which is best for you and your family, and outlines other professionals and resources you may need along the way. At DivorceTown, you can also find many free articles, videos, and other free resources to help you have a saner, savvier, money-saving divorce. The DivorceTown Marketplace on DivorceTownUSA.com has been designed to bring you some of the best books, products, and resources that we found through the years to help you with your divorce so that you can thrive long after. And we feature the various sections that you see here, and we have something for everyone at any stage of the process. We also at DivorceTown USA sponsor a virtual divorce help and hope support group through meetup.com, which meets once or twice a month via Zoom. Meeting dates and times are always posted on the DTUSA events section. And at Divorce Money Matters, my other primary site for helping clients with their financial matters of divorce, you can download your free divorce financial fitness kit that I created to help you get better organized and take more control of your money matters. This kit includes an ebook, a working Excel spreadsheet of documents you'll need to gather as you're preparing or going through divorce, and a list of 50 must-ask questions for when you're ready to meet with a family law attorney. A lot of things to consider that you might not have thought about, and it's not about grilling your attorney. It's about knowing the questions to ask that pertain to your situation. Next week, we're going to be gearing up for March Madness as we discuss the theme, Keep Your Eye on the Ball and Your Assets Out of Court, with our guest, Georgia Lord, who is one of our premier attorneys with DivorceTown USA. So that's going to prove to be a very interesting show, and we look forward to seeing you there. We're sure you found this week's episodes of the Divorce Do's and Don'ts show helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next week and every week as we continue improving the way the world divorces, one family at a time.